Meghan Markle and Prince Harry's New York speech on vaccine equity was debunked by columnist Ross Clark, whose analysis was then highlighted on a royal podcast. Their claims that rich countries are hoarding vaccines and pharmaceutical companies are unfairly profiting from the pandemic was challenged by Mr. Clark in The Spectator. He argued that AstraZeneca had made their vaccine available at cost price and licensed production to the Serum Institute in India to help low- and middle-income countries have access to vaccines produced at a lower cost base. Mr. Clark also noted that, while some manufacturers have refused to surrender patents, wealthy countries have donated 300 million doses of the coronavirus vaccine to 142 countries with 1.3 billion due to be delivered by the year's end. In this way, he argued that, while it may have been cheaper for taxpayers if patents were waived, it makes little odds for the recipients of the jab. The piece also pointed out that over 44.5% of the world's population had received at least one dose of the vaccine, and more have been vaccinated in India than live in the whole of Europe. Furthermore, Mr. Clark argued that, while only 6.14% of people in African countries have had one dose and 4.02% have had two doses of the coronavirus vaccine, the continent has been lightly affected by the virus compared to Europe. He wrote, "It would be extraordinary if vaccination programs in the UK, 1,993 deaths per million inhabitants to date, and the US, 2,119, had been delayed so that vaccine doses could be diverted to Tanzania, 0.8 deaths per million, Nigeria, 13, or Kenya, 92. Pod Save the Queen is hosted by Ann Gripper and features Daily Mirror royal editor Russell Myers. Mr. Myers cited this article in The Spectator and suggested that Meghan and Harry's claims against pharmaceutical countries and the West may not reflect reality. He said, "They made a speech at this global citizen event. It was potentially quite cruelly dubbed, woke fest." Ms. Gripper interjected, "Or, wokistock, alternatively." Mr. Myers continued, "I think it's a good thing that we need to be talking about. However, I tell you what, I did see somebody that sent me, which was a piece in The Spectator which was saying that they are wrong about these COVID vaccine patents. The idea that there's a few rich countries that are going out, hoovering up the vaccines and people aren't being able to get vaccines, hoarding them while the rest of the world doesn't get them, it doesn't really reflect reality. The pharmaceutical companies might think it's a bit rich that they are being asked to help out whilst governments are actually helping and there is a scheme happening. So it seems like a good point to be arguing, however whether there's a slight bit of misinformation there, I'm not sure." He added, "To pitch countries against each other perhaps isn't the whole picture. Obviously more needs to be done, but I think that it's not altogether a clear-cut picture." Ms. Gripper added, "It's something that's been debated in the UK as well, because we went quite early with a lot of contracts and got a lot of vaccines in. And then the question is it responsible for the UK to be offering boosters and third vaccinations to people here who are already vaccinated and have a good level of protection, when there are so many people in the world who haven't had their first? So there is that debate and supply questions."